President Muhammad Buhari says he's supporting the ongoing APC membership push because he wants the party to return to the grassroots. At a meeting with youth representatives from the APC, Buhari says members should be responsible for selecting election candidates. He says the authority of the political party should flow from the bottom up instead of the other way around.
I'm delighted to be part of this meeting today, not only on your commitment to strengthen our party and its progressive ideologies, but more importantly, your role in the social sphere, body policy, politics, and governance of our dear country. I have followed with keen interest the efforts of many of you in your bid to grow our party, the All Progressive Congress, into a strong and long-lasting platform that will sustain progressive governance in Nigeria. Taking issues concerning our party seriously is commendable and shows your forward-looking aspects.
Well, for more on our top stories, let's bring in our political, our guest, Arise News analyst, MAHMUD JEGA. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Would you say the reasons given, for extending the tenure of the IG of police are tenable to give enough time for the process of handing over to another IG? Or would you say it's some kind of a vote of confidence of some sort on the part of the president?
Honestly, the reason didn't sound very convincing because the government knew all along that the IGP will clock 35 years in service on February 1 and is due to retire under the amended Police Act. So the task of choosing a successor should have started 3 or even 6 months before, in time for him to hand over. In any case, when you say you need another 3 months to select, it's not like there is a very wide field of choice. In the end, the new IGP will have to be selected among the DIGs, who are only 6, or among the AIGs. I don't know how many they are, but there are no more than 20. So it's not like it's a very huge field that you will have to select. And in any case, the tradition since 1999 mostly has been that presidents use the position for some kind of geopolitical balancing and say, okay, since the military service chiefs are from here and there, then the IGP should be from here. There is that element. But really, you don't have more than 25 people to select from. So you don't need 3 months to do that.
Okay, let's quickly introduce our colleague, political editor, SUMNER. SUMNER, welcome to this conversation. So first, let me ask you, what is the feelers that you're getting as a reporter and a political correspondent and also political editor? What are people in the media saying to you in terms of how they read the meanings they're reading into the presidency's statement today?
Well, it's been generally received as a statement that is not that's not sitting well with a lot of Nigerians, especially the elites, because they perceive that the government has been sleeping on duty, as one analyst had said earlier on, because the issue of having a new Inspector General of Police is one that has been on for a long period of time. The Police Act that was signed into law by President Muhammad Buhari last year had clearly spelled out the process for having a new Inspector General of Police, and that has to do with the Police Council, which will be put in place, comprising the President as chairman of that council, and then you have the 36 state governors being in that council, and then they will sit, and then 3 names will eventually be reached upon, and then the final person will be chosen. So what people are saying generally within the political sphere in Nigeria is that the presidency doesn't seem to have looked into this issue carefully. It looks like a rush job, and it looks like the president's body language is what a lot of people within the presidency were looking at, rather than actually looking at the law signed by Mr. President himself. and they feel that this doesn't speak well of the presidency, because there's no reason why this anticipation should have gone on for so long. Remember that the IG of Police, Mohammed Adamu, had to wait for the president to come back from Katsina State, from Daura precisely, before he could actually know whether to continue in office or he should hand over and all of that. Meanwhile, there's a law that has been put in place by the National Assembly, assented to by Mr. President, and they feel that the presidency hasn't played its role very well at this point in time.
Let me stay with you very quickly, SUMNER. What legacies really? I mean, yes, he still has 3 months to go, but in terms of achievements since his tenure, since he came into office January 15 of 2019, what would you say has stood this IG out, from the rest?
Well, interesting question, Ngozi. A lot of Nigerians have actually given thumbs up to this incumbent IG of police, because he has been very professional in his duties, and he has tried within the shortest time that he's found himself in office. Don't forget the previous one before now, Idris Poto, had a very bad record with Nigerians when it comes to human rights abuses and all of that. But since the assumption of Mohammed Adamu, he has played his role very well, except for the issue of the NSAS, which a lot of people feel he did not handle properly, considering that complaints had been there for a longer period, even before he came into office, but that they expected some reforms. But also, he was caught within this conundrum of starting reforms when he knows that he has a very short period to leave, like we are discussing at the moment. But in all, compared to his predecessors, I think one of the persons that measure up to what he has done within this brief time is Sunday Hinderu. He has been able to do a lot. And then we also have Iriasi, Solomon Arase, so to say, who actually performed very well too. Within this, these are some of the shortcomings that the Police Act try to address. The IGP should know when he's starting his tenure and when he should leave, and that's why this tenure says 4 years. And in all of this, we expect that the Police Act will be obeyed by this government, because this government actually signed that document. But with these circumstances we find ourselves right now, it looks like the presidency doesn't want to give thumbs up to the reforms that it has introduced by itself. And a lot of analysts are beginning to question why the state governors need to be on that police council if they cannot sit Mr. President down and actually let him know that he needs to do the right thing. So why is that meeting not being convoked? Why is it, just still there without being held at the moment? These are questions that need to be answered by the presidency.
Okay, let me just quickly move the question on to MAHMUD JEGA here. So when you look at all of the other issues, let's move away from the story of the IG. The case that we have at hand is also that of, what would you say? Just a quick comment so that we can go on a break. With regards to the appointment, the nomination rather, of the service chiefs, what are your thoughts?
Honestly,
very
it's
quick comment
difficult
so
to know
what
what message the president is trying to send, whether he's grateful to the former service chiefs for the service they did, or to emphasize that he very reluctantly removed them as service chiefs. Because this appointment is quite strange. All of them, all 5 of them, going to become ambassadors. We used to have military men as ambassadors in Nigeria, both serving and retirement. This is a very large number, and coming so soon after their retirements.
You don't think it's because the president thinks that they still have a lot to offer the country in terms of service?
Definitely, he must believe that, but I don't know whether other Nigerians will share that opinion.
Okay, thank you so much, MAHMUD JEGA, for joining us.